What's up, guys? This is Brent with 247parts.com. Now let's jump right on into when and how to change your anti-scalping wheels on your mower deck. Now, this may be a thing that you think is just absolutely silly. Why in the world would we ever need to worry about those wheels? But for one, it's going to be that those wheels start to get worn out over time. And whenever those wheels start to wear out around the inside where it runs on that axle, it could also be ruining the axle itself. Now, by the axle, what I'm talking about is on some decks, we're going to have an actual axle that sticks down through the deck like this one here, that wheel actually rides on. And then on some, what we're going to have is a slot where that wheel sits with a bolt running through it. And by definition, since that wheel rides on that bolt, it's technically an axle. So we're going to be looking at a couple of different styles here and showing you just how easy it is to change those out. All right, so let's start by looking at ones on a deck here that are truly going to be axles. So what I was talking about are going to be these right here that are going to raise up and down in the deck. Now, these are not going to be near as common as the other style that we'll show here in a minute, but what we're trying to gauge is when it's time to change these out. So first thing you can do is simply grab onto your anti-scalping wheel and see how much wiggle you have in that wheel. And right there, that is pretty worn out, I would say. Now, when these get worn out, sometimes even the nut gets worn out. So right here on this one, our nut is even worn out to the point where I cannot get my socket onto that nut. So we'll have to go the other way, grab a wrench and start to take that thing off. And rather than a wrench, we're gonna go with a pair of small channel locks here. So that is what can happen whenever your axles are bad. Now, luckily, these are fairly new wheels that I'm putting on, and they are actually holding up pretty well. Now, once we get that wheel off, if you have room, you can take this out. More than likely, you're gonna have to raise up the front of your mower. So I'm gonna go ahead and go grab the mow jack and get that raised up. Now, a regular jack would work on doing this job, but if you have a chance to get a mower jack, if you're going to be doing a lot of work on multiple different mowers, I highly recommend this jack system. And if you want to see more about this, I actually have a video on this, so make sure and check that out. I'll leave it down in the comments section below, or in the description section rather, so you can check that out. Now, once we get that one, get this raised up, we'll go ahead and pull out on this pin, wiggle out that old axle. Now let's just take a look at how worn this is. I mean, you can see right there, it's wearing all the way up in almost into the threads there. And if we look at that compared to a new one, yeah, it was time to change these out. So now that we've got that new one, we'll go ahead and put it back up into place, just like so. We can go back on with that old wheel as long as we are not worn and wallowed out. So we'll just go ahead and set that back on, just like so. Now, one thing to keep in mind here is that now, even without the nut on, it's wiggling back and forth, but it's not wiggling on the axle. Normally, go ahead and change this nut out, but we are going to just reuse this one, get just a little more life out of it, and change it out the next time we go. Keep in mind, if you have a little bit of play back and forth like this, that's okay. What we're worried about is the function of this wheel, whether it's going to roll smoothly, and if we can take it and actually get any wiggle there on the axle. This is going to be wear and tear that's going to be on the deck over time. These are meant to have a little bit of give in them so that you can easily change the height with your pin system. So if you have a little bit of wear and tear there, that is okay. What we're looking for is making sure that our wheel here does not have too much give. Now, why this is important is because on these anti-scalping wheels, what this is your protection from keeping your mower deck from getting down into the grass. So if this has some wear and tear in it, like we see here, what you're going to be getting there is about 1/4 of an inch lower on your wheel, and it's also not going to be riding straight, so it's going to be riding at an angle. It's going to allow that deck to drop down further into the grass, so you may not get the cut quality that you want from your anti-scalping wheels. Now the same thing on the other style that we've got, just like the one that you see here. This is going to be a single bolt system where we simply have to back this nut off, pull this pin out or this bolt, and then look for the same things. Look and see if it's worn like the one here, and if it is, you know that your wheels are not riding at the height that they're supposed to be. So this is why we want to make sure and change these out. Now, is this going to be life or death whenever we're talking about mowing? No, not at all. A lot of people don't even think much about these anti-scalping wheels at all, but if we're looking to make sure to get the best cut quality out of our machine, especially if we're going to be in those areas that are going to be uneven, a little bit bumpy or rough terrain, we want to make sure that our anti-scalping wheels are doing their jobs and making sure that we have the right axles that are in the right shape on our machine is crucial to that. So guys, I hope this video helped you out. I hope that you liked this video. If you did, we just ask you to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. And hopefully this made you just a little more aware of something else on your mower that you need to be paying attention to. So guys, if you are needing any of these parts that you saw here today or any other parts for your John Deere mower, make sure to check us out at 247parts.com. And as always, guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Hey guys, make sure to go buy your parts right here and subscribe right here.